I know that you've all been prepared for this, but I thought I'd just remind you just the same. Pure evil.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
I want to buy some radio ad time.
A hen, a doe, a tree. We're Irish. Welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, Vincent Green.
I'm your host, Noel John Toohey.
And we got Karen Mack in the back. This is a special episode of Invasion of the Darkseid. Let's get to it, motherfuckers.
Ooh, what a twist.
Ooh, what a twist. So, Noel, this time, as I said in the intro, Invasion of the Darkseid, we're doing a little crossover. And we're going to do these in the future, but we're going to do two back to back now, and they're going to encompass any kind of superhero movie that we think kind of realms, like the kind of
walks between the lines.
Yeah, exactly. Walks between the lines between the superhero genre and the horror genre, which are the two kind of main focuses of what we cover on the two shows, apart from science fiction and whatnot. But so no, we started off with what we do is we went, as you said, ooh, what a twist. We're with M.Night Shyamalan's Glass trilogy. First starting off almost 15 years ago, I think it was, when it came out, when the third movie came out, was Unbreakable, followed up by a secret sequel in the shape of James McAvoy-led Split, and then round it all off, we got the big ensemble with Glass, starring Samuel L. Jackson, James McAvoy, Bruce Willis, pretty much everybody that was in the trilogy came back for the last one.
Yes.
So what did you think of, like, so we're going to talk, I want to talk a little bit about M. Night Shyamalan, because like, he started off with Sixth Sense. To start off with Sixth Sense, it's only going to be downhill from there.
Yeah.
But to follow it up in Unbreakable, I think it's just a movie that's gotten better with time. And what was your initial reaction with his follow up to Sixth Sense, which was like everybody loves Sixth Sense, and then how do you think it's aged and shit? Like, you know?
Everyone talks about more grounded superhero films, whether that be Batman Begins or Black Widow or just something that isn't like so like Superman,
yeah,
or Doctor Strange, yeah, or something like that. And thinking about it now after watching Invincible, they never did it as well as Invincible.
Yeah.
Because if you add this a bit, like, it would take so much for you to get to the idea that I might have superpowers.
Yeah.
I don't know, you probably have to survive a train wreck that kills every single other person.
Yeah, exactly. And
you would have to get out of it without a scratch upon you, just for an example.
Yeah.
And I thought that just the everyman that Bruce Willis played in this movie was so immersive.
Yeah,
David Dunn. It was so immersive. You know what? I just love the film. To get to if you wanted like a synopsis in a few words, I absolutely loved it because it was just him coming to the slow realization.
Yeah. This could be all possible.
This could all be possible. Yeah.
Like, and the thing is, it's like he has to come to two realizations. Not only could this be all possible, but I may be a superhero.
Yeah.
Or I may have superhuman abilities.
I might not be. I can't be broken.
Yeah, which is weird. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
He's doing the weights with the kid, and he's they're putting paint cans.
Yeah, it's like they run out of weights. Like,
they completely run out of weights.
It's like about 400 pounds, I think he was.
Yeah, and you know, and then he just realized that there's a scene where he's in work and he calls to his boss and he goes, in the last 5 years or whatever amount of time it was he worked there, he goes, have I ever had a sick day?
Yeah, because how many sick days have I taken?
How many sick days have I taken? And the thing that the boss doesn't know is that it's a genuine question.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't give a fuck about
10%. No, $40 raise.
$40 raise is the best I can do. And he was just like, wow, I've never been sick. But like, I mean, we talk to friends all the time, people in your daily life, and they go, no, I don't really get sick often, or I've never broken a bone. Nothing about that is actually so bizarre.
Yeah.
Some people are just luckier than others that way. But him coming to the realization that nothing can ever be wrong with me.
Yeah, but he came to the realization, I've never been sick. I've never been sick. And he knows, because he faked injury, that he's never been injured.
Yeah.
And like, coming to that realization, it's like, wait, if I've never been sick and I've never been injured, maybe I can't be hurt.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of way, like, because there's being lucky, but everybody catches a cold.
Everybody
like,
catches
you know
a
what
cold.
I mean? Like, even a supreme human being like me just recovered over a cold. You know what I mean? Like, supreme human. You know what I mean? Like, so
Podcaster Supreme, I think is what they call me.
I think that's what they call me.
On the streets.
Yeah, I didn't ask for it, they gave it to me.
Yeah.
And I received it thankfully.
But I thought it was really cool, and I thought and then to like kind of unabashedly try and tie it into comic books.
Yeah.
Not in a like, wow, isn't this kind of like a grounded version of comics? Because Mr. Glass makes it exactly about comic books, references them.
The reason this has all occurred, and the reason his search for the superhuman, is because of his affinity with comic books.
Yes.
Because they're the only freedom he ever had in his life. When I'm in hospital recovering from this, I'm reading comic books. When I was recovering from this, I was reading comic books. So when you're a child that's infirmed and is locked in a bed, and you have tales of men that can fly, men that can go to space, intergalactic beings, like we've all read in comic books.
Oh, yeah.
And if you have that freedom and you think the mindset of it, because really what he is, he's a genius but he is still a child.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? He's still living in that weird, like, he got locked in this sense of wonder, and it led him down the wrong path.
Yeah.
And like, instead of like using his gifts, it's the stereotypical supervillain story. Yeah. Instead of using his gifts for good, he uses his gifts for bad egomaniacal reasons or personal reasons, because all he wants to do is to prove his reason for existence. Yeah. So if there's an exact opposite of me, that's someone that's unbreakable, like a David Dunn, my reason is to be his exact opposite.
Somebody I can outthink. For sure, because I'm a genius, but could never take on somebody who is my opposite in, like, obviously he's...
Lex Luthor Superman.
Yeah, it's Lex Luthor Superman in 100%.
In the most realistic way possible.
In the most realistic way possible,
like, you know, because you got a guy that's just, like, extremely durable against a guy that has the brain, like, of a Stephen Hawking. But obviously, unfortunately, he also has the physical frailty
of Stephen Hawking. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But even, I've even asked that question, is what would be the chance of somebody with an intellect like Stephen Hawking and like a 1 in a billion intellect having a 1 in 100 million or 1 in a 10 million, you know,
body, like a Schwarzenegger, Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's absolutely crazy. So I do think he was like, what is the exact opposite to me? Because I know what this is my strength and this is my weakness. Yeah. So it's not that like David was a moron. He just wasn't a genius.
Yeah.
You know, he was
a working Joe.
He was a working Joe. Is exactly what he was.
Because he should have been a superstar football player.
And a humble man. He had his ambitions were to provide for his family. Yeah. And just live a normal life.
He was a guy that was just humbled by life.
Yes, humbled by life.
You know what I mean? Like, because he had to, or maybe he humbled himself, and that he became. I know, because like he was the reason he didn't become a superstar football player. Because if he has this instinctual thing, I was saying this to Lorraine, I'm like, he can't be hurt. And he had, like, if he touches off and he can understand where the next play is coming from, he would have been the greatest football player of all time. Oh, yeah, exactly. Like, of all time. Like, he would have sacked you every time. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
each and every time.
Each and every time. Like, you know what I mean?
So that was it. Like, and it was an interesting set of superpowers because the Thing, the Hulk, Superman, Wolverine, Luke Cage, the list goes on and on of guys that are durable.
Of course.
But the actual intuition kind of thing, and without going as far as telepathy, the actual intuition thing, I thought was an interesting power to give.
Because it's the best way, because if you're a superhero and starting out, how are you going to find out whose villain is?
Yes.
You need some sort of intuition, whereas a Batman's intuition comes from experience.
Yeah, but again, genius level intellect, a detective.
Exactly.
Even like as Ra's al Ghul always refers to him as the detective.
Yeah, because he's the world's greatest detective.
The world's greatest detective. But that's what, again, it was grounded in its concept, and it got a main character that was grounded in his being. Against somebody who was the complete opposite, even in that sense, that he believed in these hugely kind of magical way of thinking, and had a genius level intellect, and was had a really rare disorder, and he obviously got obsessed with the concept of it to the point where, well, I don't know if he was a psychopath. Well, he certainly didn't care who he hurt again.
I think, he's definitely a psychopath. Though.
Yeah,
he's a sociopath.
Yeah, because I don't think the train was the only thing he did.
He did 3 things.
Yeah.
He did the building, the hotel, he did the train, and he did a plane as well.
Yeah, and
he's a mass murderer.
He's a mass murderer, a few times over. Well, everything about this, like, I couldn't fault this film in any sense. I remember watching it and just kind of, it actually just brought me back to the first time I originally watched it. And as I was watching it, I remembered where I was and what I was doing. And that to me, I was like, you know what, this film must have really resonated with me at the time, because all I could tell you about other films is, yes, I've seen it. Yeah. But I remember just thinking, God, this is just so cool.
I think the problem with M.Night Shyamalan is, like we talked before about Jordan Peele in our Candyman episode, how he got lost in his own messaging. And I think the thing with M.Night Shyamalan, he kind of got lost in his own, what a twist. Like, everybody always says that about him. And the thing is,
the South Park joke.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the robot chicken joke as well. Like, if you have a movie like Sixth Sense and the twist is so profound, like spoiler warning, 3, 2, 1, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, Bruce Willis was dead, right? Yeah. So you know what I mean? Like, so like you have such a profound twist.
It was amazing.
How do you top it next time? And then when you have Unbreakable, the real twist is that he actually is a superhero. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you top that next time? And then you have Signs, and you have The Village, and it's constantly the twist. It becomes the story. Yeah. And the story becomes an element leading to the twist. And so the twist should be just the bow on top of the story. Which
a director should be going in and thinking, how do I make a good film?
Yeah, exactly.
As in not like, as in you could go from Lord of the Rings to a more humble project and just think, how, like, all right, how do I? This is the best film I can make. And you're right, like Shyamalan just seemed to be trying to top him. It's like he was in competition with himself. And I think anytime any artist, music, you know, in any form, I always think that's a slippery slope, and it was like, I mean, you know, you had The Village, and you had.
It's like, oh, maybe I should write a period piece about monsters. And what if the monsters aren't real? And go, what if the village isn't real?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the kind of thing I think his process kind of was like. It's like he was one-upping himself. Well, what if this isn't real? But what if this isn't real? Maybe I can put this in and this in.
I said to you
like,
jokingly, but I stand by it, is that the twist, his ultimate twist would be not having a twist.
Yeah.
And I do mean that.
Yeah.
I mean, I say it jokingly, but I do mean it. If you had like a Die Hard film where it was good again, Bruce Willis, but like the good guy versus the bad guy, and at the end the good guy takes out the bad guy, and what happens in between is a fucking cool movie.
What I really enjoyed was his choice when he made After Earth, and when he made The Happening, when he decided not to have a story at all.
Yeah.
That was an incredible twist.
Well played, sir.
So I just thought that was enjoyable.
The twist was you paid for it.
Yeah. Did I know?
Yes.
Of course. Allegedly. I support the arts.
But I thought, like, one thing, all right, we shot on him a little bit there, but I'm going to, not to jump too far ahead, but
no, just jump around.
Secret sequel.
Yeah, it's genius.
As you just said, I never thought, I said it was a sequel and the twist was, oh no, sorry, I said it was a film and the twist was that it tied into the Invincible universe. But you put two words together that I haven't put together in my own head. Secret sequel. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's genius.
That's genius. That's a 10 out of 10.
That payoff at the end of Split
is fantastic.
Like, oh my God. Like,
because you had the beast being real, but like it was that I thought it was
a twist within a twist.
Yeah, that was it. And then it had, just at the end, it had David in a diner.
Yeah.
And they're talking, what was it? And they were like, what was the thing? And
because the news report about what happened with Anna Joy Taylor's character. Joy Taylor.
Yeah.
But that news report come on, and and you said, what was that guy that happened 15 years ago or something? They locked him up, and he's like, Mr. Glass.
Mr. Glass. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah. And it's fucking awesome. Like, I just thought...
Casey Cook, by the way.
Is her character's name?
Is her character's name? Yeah.
Which, if you look at this, is kind of like he does that, doesn't he? It's kind of like what's the Stan Lee thing, the alliteration, the like Casey Cook, David Dunn, the two names starting with the same letter, kind of like a Bruce Banner.
Susan Storm. Yeah. And why not? Like.
Sorry, I was like concentrating on that.
Yeah. But I was making a cigarette. When I went into Split, like Split is also a great film. I said this to you. You were coming up the stairs, and I said, I'm going to touch upon it.
Coming on the stairs.
I said,
carpet stains.
I said that the trilogy, because me and you watched this as basically one film in the sense that we had to get this trilogy under the one in a row, so that we could talk about it. So to me, it was a 6.5 hour film, whatever the hell it was.
Yeah. I think it's 6 hours.
And it was like, it just veered off a little bit at the end.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Invincible was so good, Split was so good, and then Glass kind of veered off to the end. And I was like, and looking at that as one film, you're like, damn it, Shyamalan. I think you did it on a bigger scale, like, you know? But and I actually didn't hate Mr. Glass as much as but I loved Split. And I loved Invincible.
Yeah, it's because Split, like, was so original. And like, even though it's kind of weird that I say it's so original, and I'm reminded that I just watched a documentary called The 24 Minds of Billy something or other. I'll check his name in a sec. Billy Griffith, I think.
He had DID.
And the think he was fucking around, really. Like,
well,
I don't want to ruin the documentary, but there's theories. There's theories that he suffered from disassociated identity disorder, or that he might be a highly intelligent guy that they just underestimate, and he was playing for fools. Which to me, it seems like that he was a guy that was operating on genius.
Edward Norton, what film?
Primal Fear. Spider-Warning. But like, that's what I felt like.
We do retroactive Spider-Warnings here, by the way.
Yeah, Car, can you re-edit the Spider-Warning before? But to me, sometimes I think with that situation, that guy is the only really case I've seen, and obviously that was the inspiration for Split, because he even has the exact same amount of personalities, the 23 and 24.
And I loved the concept of the light.
Yeah.
You know, the light.
They're all sitting around like in a group.
In a group around the table, around the light.
Yeah.
And I thought, of course, James McAvoy was. I'm going to use the word triumphant.
Yeah.
He was brilliant.
Full sure you're going to say terrific.
Well, that too, but he was, he actually, when I was watching Split, I felt like I was watching an actor who was enjoying himself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's such a huge undertaking for an actor, because you're playing so many
headwigs,
like Tatiana Maslany in Orphan Black. It was a clone type based thing, and she played. And when she got the She-Hulk job, I was like, give that woman right, give her a blank check, give her to her. She's just fantastic.
Yeah.
And when James McAvoy was in this, I was like, wow, there's no denying. He's fantastic.
Do you think it's a case of like when you look at a scene in Glass where he's doing, remember, and he's goes towards the light, and every time the light flashes, he changes his personality? And do you think it's a case of like it's so much fun where he's probably just like M. Night Shyamalan's probably like, just go.
I imagine so.
Just
because
go.
there's a scene where Mr. Glass is trying to disable it, but it flashes maybe 4 times as he's trying to do it. And there's another scene where the orderly is in there, and the orderly's getting freaked out, so he hits the button a whole bunch of times. He's like, dude, I almost had you. Get over there, you fucking gobshite. You almost fucking had, you know. And I love the Irish lad that came out of nowhere.
That was Dennis, wasn't it, before that though? I almost had you.
I almost had you, bro. I thought that was great. Like, and when I was watching that, I felt like I was. It's a rare enough thing to just looking like you're, even though the actor is acting enough to immerse me, I'm still outside of it looking, going, God, he just looks like he's having so much fun.
Yeah, he's such a good actor though.
I can't speak for James McAvoy, I don't claim to, but he is I would say that if he was to look back at his career, what did you enjoy the most? He would. I'd imagine, I humbly imagine that he would have to say that, because he got to.
He's so good though, isn't he? And
even just the kid was so much fun.
Hedwig's, yeah. Gonna be 9 forever.
But it was just really, really good. And I walked away from that, and I remember saying, I said to Sheila, I said, when he gets it right, he gets it right.
Yeah.
Like Shyamalan has never ever made an average film.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe Mr. Glass.
Yeah.
Maybe Glass. Sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe Glass.
Visit was kind of good.
Yeah, I didn't hate The Village as much as everyone did.
Yeah. Either way, I just think the second twist was unnecessary. I think the twist with them,
the monster was somebody from the village.
Yeah, I thought if the elders were using fear as a control to lead, it stops them going out into the outside world. I thought that's cool enough.
And it's a microcosm of what actually goes on in the world, the fear mongering that.
Exactly, you know what I mean? But it's a have it to the nth degree where, like, as I said to you, it's like, the monsters are fake. What if the whole village is fake? You know what I mean? It's like, chill, dude.
But I walked away going, God, he got that right. Because when the beast finally came.
$9 million he only made that for.
What?
$9 million.
Wow.
Yeah. You know
this is what I'm talking about.
I think sometimes the tighter his constraints are, the better the filmmaker he is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. I think, like, imagine if he got his hands on a Marvel film.
Yeah.
You know, it turns out the Guardians of the Galaxy or the Galaxy of the Guardians.
Yeah.
What?
Like, oh my God, Tony Stark is Captain America.
Yeah.
Who won a twist? Samuel L. Jackson's actually now white Nick Fury.
Yeah. Cultural appropriation Fury. Or But it was split. I was like, I walked away going, God. And at the end of that, when David is in the diner, I walked away from that, and I was with Sheila, and she hadn't never seen Invincible. So I was beside her going, Unbreakable. Sorry, this is a blind spot I have in my head. I keep doing that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I walked away from that, and I said to her, "Wow, that's a twist." She goes, "What was the twist?" She goes, "Why was Bruce Willis in it?" She'd never seen it. She was just like, it's weird. Like, Bruce Willis is a big actor. Like, why did you just have Bruce Willis at the end? The guy, as the guy who remembers the thing. I said, no, there was a film called Unbreakable, and I was like,
so let me set the scene for you, Sheila. Over a decade ago.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
a small man from India came across to America with big dreams, massive dreams.
Sheila, let me just put you to it. In a world
where daytime is always night. Where nighttime is always Shyamalan.
I'm gonna do something similar. But I walk away going, God, I was really, really excited for Glass. But I fell into a trap, and when we did Doctor Sleep, I didn't watch that film because I'm a little bitch, and I listened to too many people, and I didn't think it was great. And you said to me, it's actually a real good film, and I went to watch it, and I went, wow, I really enjoyed that. I'm a bitch. I listened to too many people, and as I've started doing this podcast, I've realised that I should probably be
taste the movies.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I should listen to Vinny, the podcaster supreme, as we call him on the street.
That's what they call me. But it's a mantle that I shall accept.
But I didn't go to it. And I had to. I get to it when I get to it.
Yeah.
I get to it when I get to it kind of approach. And then, of course, it came up in an official capacity. We were going to do this trilogy. I hadn't seen the third film. I went back and revisited the first two, and then I watched the third one for the first time. So unlike you, I've seen the third one once, but recently.
Yeah, I've seen the third one 3 times now.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I've seen it.
But then I was like...
M.Night for life.
And then I was just thinking... I was watching it. I have to say I was really, really enjoying it. But I said if I was watching this in the cinema, I'd be like, get on with it.
Yeah, no, that's why I felt like several times.
Especially because it felt like the other films in the cinema. Like, Unbreakable was allowed to take its time because it was this world building,
Two
and
characters.
Split was allowed to take its time because it was world building.
Yeah.
And the third one, we have the world.
The world is built.
It's
Exactly.
built. Get on with it. The beast is real.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that though, because I seen a thing online today. It's like it was like a meme, and it's like eventually you're going to have to stop world building and start fucking storytelling.
Yes.
You know what I
And
mean?
that's where the third film. That's not to say I didn't find some scenes incredibly entertaining. I thought, and you
James
know, and
McAvoy
yeah,
up the scenery. Bruce Willis played a really like a somber vigilante kind of thing. Like I thought,
and Spencer was growing up and was kind of his oracle.
yeah.
You know, he was the guy.
Overwatch or whatever,
the Overwatch. Anything you want to talk.
How come he doesn't share his genes?
But that's the thing. You know, in the third film that they said, every time somebody like Mr. Glass comes along, an opposite comes along, and that's just the way it is. It's not necessarily a genetic thing. It's like a chosen. It's like a chosen thing.
Every time they're attacking to a weak Godzilla comes to it.
Yeah.
So
Well,
the
that's
balance.
it, but you know what I mean?
I never wanted. Right, I love Ken Watanabe as an actor, right? And every time he spoke in Godzilla, I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Do you not realize they're using an Asian stereotype?
Yeah.
Do you not realize they're going to make you say Godzilla?
They're going to make you say Godzilla or something.
Gojira, yeah.
You know,
they're going to make you say it, dude. And like 40 minutes into Gojira, called it. But that's what, like, you know what I mean? It's like that kind of thing annoys the fuck out of me. Like, you know what I mean? It's like eventually you're just going to like have to get on with the story, as you said. Like,
yeah,
you know
and the
what I
film
mean?
is obviously the film tried to take it. It took it down and put them in a mental institution. It explored them. What if they're completely deluded? Like I did enjoy. Like for example, the scene I enjoyed where Sarah Paulson's character said, like, here is some red clay.
Yeah.
So you touched him. You thought your intuition said, "Oh, he's in a building with red tiles on the roof, and the girls are trapped there." And he goes, "Yeah, but here it is." Like he goes, "Have you ever seen magicians where they say, oh, and they tell a person cold readings, and they tell them something?" He goes, "I think you are world class."
Yeah.
At that, I think you are naturally world class
he's
at
like
that,
a
and that's not a small thing.
Yeah.
But an ability to actually see through somebody else's eyes by skin-on-skin contact.
Yeah.
Actually, it didn't even seem like skin-on. You see, when he was looking for him, he was bumping into workers that were leaving a factory, and he was just getting these very quick readings of them as it was going along. But I'd say he started to convince them, and I didn't hate that, but I was just, at the same time, get on with it. Because you had a great fight scene near the start between the Overseer and the Beast.
Shit name.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to call him the Guardian.
Well, what was it? The tiptoe or something like that?
Yeah. But that's what I just thought they were going to call him, like the Guardian or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because it makes sense. He's a security guard.
Yeah.
And he's protecting people. The Guardian.
The Guardian, yeah, you're not wrong.
Overseer is more like what his son is doing.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? Because what is Bruce Willis overseeing? The town? No, he's not. He's protecting it. He's guarding it. He's a guardian.
I'm just glad M.Night Shyamalan was in the third one because of how necessary it was.
Yeah, and the fact that he gave his back character a backstory where he has a redemption arc. Yeah, I used to be with some bad guys back then, but now I clean my life up. You know, second chances. So unnecessary. M.Night, like, you haven't got 2 minutes there. Have the son talk to his father. I don't care about the former drug dealer that happened to be in 2 seconds of Unbreakable, and you all of a sudden want to give him a fucking redemption arc.
Yeah, I was half expecting to turn around to the camera and go, "Yeah, I'm in it. I'm in the film."
Yeah, one of my favourite parts in the entire trilogy is actually at the start of Unbreakable after the accident, when Michael Kelly, who's actually from Person of Interest, he's great in that. He plays like Agent Snow or some shit. But his character, he's the doctor in this, and he's talking to Bruce Willis about, it's like, where were you seated? Did you get up during the accident?
The reason I'm looking at you right now is not only, it was great, it was, not only are you the only survivor, because, but you don't have a scratch on you. Yeah,
exactly. Not only are you soon to be the only survivor, because at the foreground of the shot, we see the other survivor bleeding out on a gurney. Because remember that, the little blood spot, and that's one of the best parts. Like, that's really, really clever story.
Like I say, he doesn't do it, but nothing is ever half measures with this man.
When he's so
everything,
subtle.
it's either great or it's not. Yeah. And again, I could, like, he's got a storied history now. You know, he's but like when it's bad, it's bad.
Yeah,
and when it's good, it's great.
Like After Earth, it's barely watchable. The Happening, The Trees. Really do.
The Last Airbender, I never watched it because I was a big fan of that.
I seen that. It's an abomination. I loved the cartoon.
Loved the cartoon.
Like, I haven't seen the whole run, I'm not going to lie. I've seen the first couple of seasons, but I loved the cartoon.
Fantastic.
And I'm not a big anime guy or anything. Yeah. Like, you know, so I just thought, like, as I said to you earlier,
technically not anime, just
a manga, is it?
Yeah, it was actually Nickelodeon that made it.
Was it?
Yeah.
So where am I about this? What do I call it?
But yeah, it was. But I thought, like, with Glass, I thought they had a chance to just, again, chew up the scenery. They could have just gone hell for leather.
Yeah.
And I get that Mr. Glass, again, I didn't hate the ending.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool the way.
It's called Glass. You keep calling it Mr. Glass.
Yeah, it's called, but Mr. Yeah, I keep calling him Mr. Glass. But I did love.
Love this trilogy.
You think he's trying to get them to
Invincible Division.
Invincible to Mr. Glass. Loved all of it. Definitely watched it.
Mr.
I've definitely seen these films. I didn't just go on Wikipedia.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Is it Delray Lindo's?
But I liked where I did like the red herring of the Osaka Plaza, I think it was called.
Yeah.
Where he thought he was trying to get him there.
The big showdown.
The big showdown, and it turned out that the facility that he was being kept in had 100 cameras.
Yeah.
So it was all there. I thought that was cool. I didn't hate the idea of the whatever, everyone that had the clubs on the tattooed on their wrists that they were part of an organization.
Yeah,
that was trying
Shamrocks.
The Shamrocks.
Yeah. What the fuck's that all about?
Yeah, they were like they were that clandestine organization that like Illuminati type thing that they tried to keep the balance.
Yeah,
and it's you want because again when they're drowning David in a puddle.
Yeah.
And she was like, touch me and touch my hand, and he gets a reading on her, and he was like, I tried to convince you that you were normal. It's not fair that gods walk amongst us, or something like that. And that was kind of cool. Didn't love it, but I didn't hate it.
The way they dealt with his death was ridiculous.
Yeah, I even remember because the water tank that was set up outside, the beast throws him into it. Yeah. And then he jumps in after him, and he starts hitting a kind of a crack, and he gets out, and then it just has a shot of a puddle, and all the water runs into it, and it's like a 3-inch puddle. Yeah. And I was like, oh, so he's getting drowned in that. You know what I mean? Like when the shot of the puddle filling up, like it's so if they're not going to use it, it's so unnecessary.
Yeah, so arbitrary.
Yeah, and then of course, a sniper shoots the beast in the stomach because at the end of the day, he's enhanced, but he was not invincible. He's
not the beast anymore when he got shot. He's Kevin. He's Kevin Crumb.
Well, would a beast have taken the bullet?
Yeah. He took 2 shotgun blasts at point blank range, chest and the stomach.
But you was like, oh yeah, it was wet down.
Skin, hard and steel.
Yeah. Or those bars were old and the shotgun cartridges were.
But that was just all her lying, though.
Oh yeah, it was all her lying. Yeah.
No, he really was like invincible in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Almost as durable as David, but and stronger.
Unstoppable force, movable object.
Yeah, that was kind of it. Yeah. And I don't know. I just thought it could have been approached differently. Yeah. Like I said, you didn't need to world build. Stop world building. Yeah, this was the trilogy. This was the showdown. This was the end game.
Unless Sarah Paulson. I think Sarah Paulson's a talented actor. Don't get me wrong, but I'm fed up with seeing her and everything.
Yeah.
Like if Sean Murphy or Brad Falchuk is attached to anything,
well, this is what I said.
Like Sarah Paulson's going to play her, him, 2 twins. The old dude, the black guy, the Asian guy, and maybe the 2 old.
That's what I say. I hate it. It's like I said to Sheila. At any given time, there's like 5 actors that are allowed to be in things. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because Anna Taylor-Joy, Sarah Paulson, James McAvoy, you're just like fucking Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah. Like I respect them all. I like them all, but like fucking God.
Yeah,
my God.
Give other people a chance.
Jesus fucking
You must
Christ.
be rich at this stage.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
but
like Michael Fassbender, for a while there, he was in everything.
Yes.
Everything. And I get it, dude, that you're setting yourself up for retirement, I guess.
Yeah.
But, like, make good films.
You know what
I mean? Like, I like seeing you.
He was in some tripe.
He's in shit films, like constantly.
Awful films, constantly.
Like that's
great actor, film. Awful films.
Yeah, and he's Mr. Paycheck. That's why he comes across.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like these days, De Niro. You know, like
if you hit a magic number, I think you get Fassbender.
Yeah,
maybe not anymore, but for a period of 5 or 10 years there, you hit a magic number, you got Fassbender.
Yes, you're absolutely
and I think
right,
that's what it was, and that's why I think he was in everything.
So I thought, like, again, I'd score the first film if it was a like, you know, Rotten Tomatoes type thing. I would say like 87, 88. 85, and then maybe
fuck Rotten Tomatoes.
Fuck Rotten Tomatoes. Like absolutely fuck Rotten Tomatoes. But I'm doing my own thing, like just using the percentage idea, and I'm saying that maybe a 65 or 70. I didn't actually think it was a bad film.
Yeah.
I just didn't think it was as good as what he had built to. I don't think it was the penultimate. It wasn't, again, Endgame. It wasn't where it deserved to be. When Endgame happened, it was like, yeah, Spider-Man's here, Captain America's here, let's just get on with it. Let's get on with it. We don't need to know about the first Avenger, and we don't need to know about how a Norse god fell to Earth. We did that.
When you start a trilogy, you're in Act 3.
Yeah.
You begin in Act 3.
And that's the thing about trilogy. You're absolutely right. Yeah. It is Act 3 of your trilogy.
Just fucking world building. Because what was the point of the first 2 movies if not to be fucking building the world? You know what I mean?
Kind of like re-explored what could have happened to bring them about. And it was clever. I don't think the film was
unnecessary.
clever. It was stupid. It was a clever film, but I didn't think it needed to be.
Or is it a film that was trying to be clever?
Yeah.
You know what I mean, though? Like, 'cause
You know what? I think it might have been both, and I know that's a weird thing to say,
Yeah.
but I think it might have been both.
at times it achieved its cleverness, but at times it missed it, like that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. It's a swing and a miss.
But like, so as you say, swing and a miss. Will we just go to the break?
Yeah, go to the break.
Shit segue, but
Shit
I'm happy with
segue.
it, I guess.
Carol, put in the sounds of explosions and shit
Yeah,
like that,
like, yeah.
so that it doesn't feel like a lot.
Yeah, because I'll go swing and a miss, and you go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm going, now we're going to
Game over, man. Game over. Yeah. That feels better.
Ooh, what the twist. The twist is we didn't go to the break. Yeah, will we go to the break? And
Yeah.
take 5. All right, cool. This is Invasion of the Darkseid. See you after the break. Now, word from our sponsors.
Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock. Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock.
It's almost time, kids. The clock is ticking. Be in front of your TV sets for the Horathon. And remember the big giveaway at 9. Don't miss it. And don't forget to wear your masks. The clock is ticking. It's almost time.
Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock. Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, silver shamrock.
All right, no, so we're back from the break. We got Carmack in the back, and I'm just going to have to say his name too.
Yeah,
right?
I know. Can't leave him out there.
Can't
Yeah.
leave him out. But no, so we were talking about the Glass trilogy, Unbreakable, Split, Glass, or as you like to say, Invincible, Division, Mr. Mr. Persplex. But so no,
Invincible, Halved, and Mr. Glass.
and Hard and Sand.
Yeah.
I love
Yours is
Hard,
better, yeah.
I love Hard and Sand. What movie?
I'm going to ask you, what do you think that? How do you think this ranks against other slightly more grounded superhero films, like Christopher Nolan's Batman or something like that?
The first
yeah,
two
no, that
movies
is
are
lousy, 'cause the
amazing,
first
like-
two were yeah, but you know what I mean. Just something that as outlandish as it is that a person could survive a train crash that kills literally every other single member, but Christopher Nolan's like it's outlandish that a Bruce Wayne could become a Batman. It's still so over the top in a way, but not like Thanos Infinity Stones over the top. So that's why I use that as a
like
comparison.
compared to like a Super or to a Kick-Ass or
Kick-Ass isn't a bad
Like,
example,
you
yeah.
know, something that's like it seems believable. Something that like if I was a superhero, but like if I was like the best version of me. Like, so, like, me, one thing I've learned throughout my life is that I'm durable. I played a lot of contact sports, been in a lot of fights, you know what I mean? So, if I was a more, like, a David Dunn level of durable, I could understand that. And that's relatable to me because it's just like, he's a hardy dude to the nth degree. And that's pretty much what it is. Like, he's durable,
exactly.
He doesn't get sick, he doesn't get hurt, you know what I mean? Like, and he's just like, the name
the bar fight scene where you break a pool cue off his back.
It's like when you look,
it's like the Terminator 2 scene, you know. It's just like
it's like when you look at Kick-Ass. Like Kick-Ass was a normal dude. He gets his ass handed to him, gets stabbed, gets knocked down,
gets back up again. You're never going to keep him down.
Oh, Danny boy. But so like, and it's not until he gets that surgery where all his nerves are deadened and he gets like titanium plating and all this kind of shit, and I remember like, oh, like Wolverine. But that's kind of something like you can imagine. And I think when you look at a relatable kind of superhero story, like, you know, that's like grounded. I think if you compare it to like a Kick-Ass, that it's every bit as good, and the fact that you did it over 3 movies, I think Unbreakable's a better movie than Kick-Ass, and it's more believable as well because it's just like it's a sociopath really and a super hardy dude, you know what I mean? Like, which is something you can understand. Like
Kick-Ass had a 10-year-old girl who was like a super ninja. You know?
She was awesome though.
She was incredible. Chloe Grace
Moretz
just entered the acting world with a massive.
And Nick Cage was amazing in that movie.
He was
Big Daddy,
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, child used the kryptonite.
Yeah,
amazing.
I'm just fucking with your daddy.
Yeah, she said
she was fantastic in that.
Yeah, I want twin belt and butterfly dives. But you know, like when you compare it against relatable, like if you're comparing it against Batman Begins, it's hard because it's such a top tier movie. But if you compare it against like a Kick-Ass or like a Super or like a Defender, where they're lining up a superhero movie, but also kind of examining the mental frailties a human being must have to take on that role, or the trauma they must have suffered to take on that role, because everybody knows you can't really have a good superhero movie or a good superhero origin story without some sort of trauma or loss. Like Bruce Wayne, Uncle Ben Parker with Peter Parker, you often have that like in the story. So you look at Unbreakable, and the thing is, his loss was his destiny in a lot of ways, and he thought it was the football thing.
I've read comics, and he's joked. He goes like, where he's trying to like anti-heroes, where he's trying to like tutor them in some sort of way. He said, "Look, there's in a different world, I would have been a wrestler.
Yeah,
you know, like I wouldn't have given, you know, it was manifest destiny or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, yeah." But where do you think it stacks? Like, do you think it?
I think it's better than Kick-Ass, Defender, or Super 8. If they're the contemporaries, or not Super 8. Sorry, Super 8's the J.J. Abrams movie, awesome movie. But I think it's definitely a top tier movie. Like, you saying the trilogy, or are you talking about?
I suppose the trilogy, because I've been treating it like one film.
Like in comparison, Kick-Ass had a very weak sequel. Super and Defender are only standalone movies, but if you look at Unbreakable in a standalone sense compared to the other two or the other three, I think Unbreakable is a much superior movie. It's much more subtle in the storytelling. Matthew Vaughn is very heavy metal. The Kick-Ass, Kingsman, X-Men First Class, he's a very heavy metal kind of storyteller, where it's like balls to the wall, like, you know what I mean? It's like you have like a Kingsman, the ends like with your man going in to bang your one up the ass, shit like that. Like it's a very heavy metal type. Like I prefer kind of subtle. And I think Unbreakable and Split
did have a
subtlety about him.
But that's what I said. I loved it. I found it to be so immersive in the first two outings. But in the third one, I had that, and don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But now get on with it. It just brought us back to what we were talking about.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
wasn't it, you know?
Like if you're making like a Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, and then Spider-Man 3, all of a sudden you're telling me an origin story. What the fuck's going on here, dude? Like, maybe give me the antagonist origin story for introducing a new antagonist.
Let's re-explore the radioactive spider.
You know what I mean?
You know, like,
I just think, like, yeah, it's like when you have 90 minutes or 2 hours, like, and something I've seen recently in Halloween Killed, something we'll talk about in the future, is that it's very wasteful storytelling. If you get 90 minutes and you explore all these little things, that's cool in a 2 hour long movie.
Yeah.
But if I got 90 minutes, or if I got, like, I think
90 minutes of established work.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, you have to make the distinction.
Yeah, and I think Glass might have been 2 hours long, but like
it was.
Like I just think if you got 90 minutes, 2 hours, and your world's already established, I don't need Sarah Paulson's character to belong to the Illuminati. I would much prefer her to stay grounded, and she's just a person that's trying to understand the psychosis.
Genuinely trying to understand.
Yeah, that's
because it was in a grounded world where if somebody came, like if I met somebody and he said, you know, I have this, you know, brittle bone disease and I'm a genius, and he was osteoporosis imperfecta or something.
Oh,
well done.
Or some shit.
But I would be
probably.
like, okay, and he goes, and for somebody like me, there's somebody out there that's blah blah blah. I'd be thinking, okay, this guy's a bit touched.
Yeah,
you know, this guy's definitely a bit deluded. And that's the way a person in the real world was, and that's what Sarah Paulson. I agree with you. Could have been. I didn't mind when the Shamrock or whatever. I didn't hate it because I knew it was Shyamalan. We are going to have some shit like that. But I would have preferred her to be astounded at everything that she believed in being upended, and her having a front row seat to it. That was cool.
I would have done.
Because she comes out when the Beast is doing the on all fours, running across, and I thought that was just.
I would have done like a Mindhunter. Like I would have had an FBI criminologist. You could have Sarah Paulson play it if you want. Come in, and she's there to examine what's going on with these dudes, trying to understand these guys. And pretty much her whole thing should be to convince them of their psychosis. And then eventually they actually prove her to be wrong, and they prove the superheroes are real. You know what I mean? Which would be a nice
Dr. Ellie
type.
Staple for.
What's her name?
Dr. Ellie Staple.
I thought you said Eddie Staple. I'm like...
Ellie Staple!
Eddie Staple!
But yeah, I do.
I would have explored their minds, and there's no reason to have Illuminatis. There's no reason to have secret things, whatever. I think I would have done it as in a criminologist is sent in. These guys have been apprehended, and she's like, "Are these guys crazy? Are they fit to stand trial?"
Yeah,
and that's why I think
that would have been cool.
Yeah, you know what I mean, like, cool. And that's why I would have had it build up to the whole thing where she's like, we've investigated this and we believe this could be the gunpowder thing, like you mentioned here. The bars
were old.
Yeah, it's like we've done forensic analysis and we have explanations for your abilities in air quotes. And it could have been her trying to unravel him in the way she was in the story, but actually doing it just because that's her job. You know what I mean? And I think it would have been amazing to have her maybe even fire the first shot on James McAvoy. Yeah. And then and he's like beasting out or whatever, and she fires it, and then all of a sudden the bullet bounces off him or
hurts him, but doesn't hurt him the way a bullet would.
Yeah. Well, like he just absorbs the two shock blasts.
They hurt him though.
Of course they do.
No, but he wasn't in. That's the thing. Like he wasn't as durable as David.
Yeah,
but he was more ferocious and stronger. And you said,
was David ever shot though?
It's a good question. I don't think
I never seen him.
But
shot.
then again, I don't know. Like I mean, getting shot once or an entire derailment of a train that no one survives.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think the derailment is probably worse. You're talking compression of thousands of tons of steel, and you still come out of it. But
don't talk to me about derailments, dude. I know derailments.
They call me the podcaster stream derailment on the street here.
Once again, it's a moniker I didn't ask for.
And the fact that we're in like bumfuck Ireland talking about the streets.
Well, I live on a street. It's not the streets, but it's a street.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I do think that maybe it came up short. I think that's undeniable. I actually enjoyed the film when I was watching it because of what you said, the magic of lower expectations, and that's exactly what I had.
Yeah.
But when you stop, take a step back and look at it as a trilogy, you're kind of going, no, you could have done so much more.
You could have done so much more.
I'm not saying sitting here going, if only he'd let me write the fucking screenplay. Yeah. It's very easy to
I would have given him a hand.
You would have. I'd love to. But at the same time, I think it might have been one of these things, man. I was just thinking this when you were talking and I wasn't listening. I was thinking that it probably sounded like a good idea. You could imagine him like with his wife, with his friends or something, spitballing. What if? And kind of going like, but what if there's like they take them and they explore it as a psychosis?
Yeah. And
I could imagine a world where that you're talking to someone and that sounds cool, but obviously by the time it gets to screenplay, by the time it gets to into your director behind the camera and all this kind of stuff, that it just doesn't play out that way. I could imagine that. I actually can. But at the same time, it's a results game. A film is a results game.
I think M.Night Shyamalan might be surrounded by sycophants, and he needs.
Oh my god, that is probably so true.
He needs a better wife and better friends. Because
hey, Shyamalan, turns out they're not your friends. Ooh, twist!
I just think, if to me it feels like his sounding boards are yes men, because some of his ideas are so poor, and that's like I'm not being judgmental or whatever. It's just accurate and it's just facts. That some of his ideas are golden. But as we talked about earlier,
he's probably in a sense he's probably in a bubble because he doesn't get honest feedback.
Yeah, because in this is like, my twist, I need another twist and a twist, and like did not learn from The Village the negative reaction that got because people enjoyed the first twist, but they didn't enjoy the second twist. So this was the whole fucking twist of this movie should have been superheroes are real. Prove it to her. She's just trying to disprove you as a superhero and your abilities. That's the twist. Opened up the world to the idea of superheroes.
That everything she's studied and done is for naught.
Yeah, exactly.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, and then his whole thing is like, no, I need another twist. How about an Illuminati? She's a part of this Illuminati. Yeah. And like, they didn't even hint at it throughout the movie. And I hate when people go like, do you ever see The Bone Collector? And the killer shows up and you're like, who the fuck is this dude? Oh, they hinted at him. When? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, if you want to give me a solid twist, you're going to have to put crumbs for me to follow.
Yeah.
Like literally a solid twist should be crumb here, and then reveal. Yeah. But he just went, nah, here's the twist now.
Do you not see him? He's in the background in between, like, in scene 3 in the 25th second, between the 25th second and the 29th second. If you look just over the left shoulder of the reporter that was asking questions, the killer was there, you moron.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
I say to Sheila, anytime I'm watching something and I kind of go, like, I can't remember what the most recent example was, but I was just, and I was kind of said, you know what? Did not see that coming. Yeah. That's very cool.
Yeah.
And because I do look out for them and I quite often get them, not to a degree where I deserve plaudits for, you're watching a film and you pick up on something, and then something was like, you know what, now that I'm thinking of it, I could see that they were laying breadcrumbs, and that's always cool because they got you.
Yeah.
You know that because you're saying there's two things. There's one where they make it too obvious, fuck that.
Yeah.
And then there's the one where they leave the breadcrumbs, but you don't piece it together, and you kind of think to yourself, I'll give it to you.
And as soon as you see it, you retroactively.
Yeah, you retroactively.
Yeah.
That's the good one.
Yeah.
And then the other one, it was just like, as in like they threw a breadcrumb over their own shoulder, and now they're like, ha. Yeah. How you didn't pick up on that? Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's like, did you though?
Exactly, because the first time that they I don't know what they were called. They had clubs tattooed on the outer side of their right
Who gives
wrist.
a fuck what they were called?
And the guy shoots the sniper rifle. Yeah. And he hits the Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin, because he's reverted back to Kevin.
He's reverted back to Kevin. The beast is reverted to Kevin.
Yeah.
And he has this club, this club on his wrist.
Yeah.
And then
I'm like, that means something.
I was like, yeah, obviously that means something. Just like the puddle filling up with water.
Yeah,
again,
exactly. Yeah.
When you get a close-up shot of a tattoo, it means something.
No subtlety in this movie.
No subtlety. And then I was like, oh, even then, remember I said, there was the puddle that he breaks out of the water tank, a little puddle fills up, and I went, oh, they're drowning him in the puddle.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, the club guys are drowning him in the puddle.
Exactly. And all of a sudden they're like picking off people.
And it's a powerful thing in a film to kill off all the main characters. They killed off Mr. Glass, they killed off the Beast, and they killed off the Overseer or whatever.
Yeah, David.
All three.
Yeah.
That's powerful. That's when you don't fuck around. That's not like everything tied up in a neat little bow. And I like that in films.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
I
felt it so projected.
Would have been cool if the son had discovered he had powers at the end of the movie.
I thought the son might have.
Yeah,
I thought the son obviously he looks at a comic book and it was called The Whisperer and it said, "Who are the parents?" on the cover of it. And I thought, and obviously that led him to when he confronted the Beast and he said, that train that your dad never came back from, he was on it's the same train, again, not alluded to at all.
Yeah.
And that's such, because like how many people were killed in that train?
Yeah, hundreds.
Like
100 and something at least.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about a busy
So it's just
train.
like, yeah, I could probably work him onto the train.
Like, you know what I mean? It's a train going into Philadelphia from New York. So you're talking hundreds of people on it. Like, you know.
But and then the Beast turns on Mr. Glass. So Mr. Glass takes irreparable damage from like basically just compression trauma.
Deserved.
I wasn't a mistake, Mama. But and why is his mother alive? He's 70.
Yeah. That's because the only reason she's there is because the actress that played her in the original was much younger than she was playing.
Yeah.
And she's actually still alive. So they're probably like, oh, call back.
Yeah, she got paid.
Well, you needed the sympathetic character for each person, though, as well.
I know, and they had that in spades.
Yeah.
If you want something that they had in spades,
they had Anna
that.
Joy Taylor for Kevin Crumb, and then for David Dunn, they had the son, Spencer's his name, is it?
Yeah.
And then for what's his name? Elijah Crane.
Elijah.
What was his surname though? Elijah something. But like Elijah anyway. What was his surname? I'm checking.
This is the thing that drives me crazy with Vinny. I can't just glaze
Elijah
over
Price.
something. And he was like, what was his date of birth again?
But that's what the point is.
You know what? I was almost sure I knew his blood type. I'll be back with you in 1 second.
Yeah, I think you see positive. Wait, is that even a blood type? No, negative or something. In general. No, Elijah Price. But that's the whole point of the cheap sheet, motherfucker.
Yeah, no, it's fair enough. But everyone did have a sympathetic character. And that was another... I did like when... Like, I did thought it was very... One thing, the red herring I will give them that I didn't see coming was, you know, he set Osaka Tower, and even when he leaves the glass on top of a paper of Osaka Tower for Dr. Ellie Staple, and she looks at it and she kind of like, oh, this is what he's planning on doing. And then at the end, it turns out he had everything he needed at the facility. I actually thought that was cool.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. I'll give credit where it was due. These were the things... I actually enjoyed the film when I watched it. These were the things I'll give it credit for, as in that was a red herring that I thought it was going to all go down at Osaka Tower. I did. I thought that was going to be the penultimate scene.
I seen how shitty the CGI was for that tower. I knew they were never making it out of the hospital.
I didn't. Yeah.
I was looking at it like, not going there.
Yeah,
Definitely. That looks like a map painting or something. Has one cheap ass. No, it's like, I know about Blumhouse.
I did like when he got his revenge on the orderlies.
Yeah,
I did think that was cool. I like where he slit the one's throat with glass.
Yeah,
and there's just one quick kind of like.
Yeah, that was to do with the beard, wasn't it?
Yeah. And the other dude was crushed by the Beast.
Yeah, because that was the guy that kept dropping the torches. You know, I love that when he's the Beast though, because he's so filled with rage he can barely talk.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
he's literally literally foaming at the mouth.
Yeah, man, he's ripped in that movie.
Oh, he's shredded as well. Like,
and
he. And even like, what was the name of the very demure woman? Patricia. Yeah. Even when he's walking, Mr. Glass, and they're going down the tunnels, and he's going like, in 10 seconds, I need you to roll forward.
Yeah.
She turns around and she's all like, you know, she slowly unbuttons the shirt, and all of a sudden it's the Beast, and he's just cleaning guys out. Like, there was cool shit in it, but what my point was, that cool shit, that's what the film should have been.
Yeah,
cool shit.
Lorraine's really good at guessing which personality he is at any given time.
Really?
She's like Dennis.
This is Dennis written all over.
Yeah, fucking Dennis, classic Dennis. But no, that's a good game though to play, to see if you can guess which personality he's changing to.
Yeah, it's not a bad one. If you get in the first second, you know, before they speak.
Yeah.
But and I did like even when James McAvoy's Kevin, I suppose, is the character.
Kevin Crumb.
Even when he's dying, he kind of goes through his character's on his own deathbed, on the deathbed.
Yeah, it's very sad, and it goes to Hedwig as well. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Like, that's James McAvoy, though. He's a talented actor because
He's a great actor.
because he pretty much, this guy's a serial rapist, I assume, or at least a
No,
serial
he tears
murderer.
the girls asunder. I think,
Does he? Like, because you're one, his psychiatrist in Split says that Dennis's problem is that he likes to make young girls strip off in front of him or get naked in front of him or something like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's just.
I don't know either.
Because I don't know if the Beast only gets freed. Like, do you think it's a case of they take him and then as soon as they're about to kill him, he goes to the train yard, becomes the Beast, comes back and kills them like he does?
Yeah, well, I know the Beast does the killing and everything else. Like, Dennis seemed to be the priest of the Beast. He was the one who kind of like.
Yeah, well, him and Patricia were the main ones that owned the light, as they like to say in it. Cause,
well, it was the kid. What was the Hedwig's?
Hedwig.
Hedwig was the one who controlled the light.
Yeah.
But they controlled him.
Yeah.
Because he was easy to manipulate because he was just a kid.
Yeah, because they used him.
I liked
to disarm
with
people.
him and Chloe, and he was like, "We kissed." You cheated on me. He's very funny. Like he was great. And again, this something I've said on a previous podcast. A lot of times you look at it and think, "Oh God, like." This wasn't a dumpster fire of a film or anything like that. We've seen dumpster fires of films, and you think like, well, the actor worked inside of the framework that they were given.
Yeah.
It wasn't as if he could turn around and give a, Goodfellas type approach to it. The film was the film, and you had to operate within the confines of the script and the confines of the storyline. And this was definitely one of those for James Wan, because Split was great, and Glass, God, was okay.
Nailed it.
But it wasn't great.
Yeah.
But James McAvoy deserves 0 of the criticism.
Oh man, he's amazing. Like, one thing I liked about this the most was how Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson, like, and because it was easier for James McAvoy because Split was so much closer to Glass than Unbreakable was.
Yeah.
But how the two of them just embodied those characters immediately again. Like Bruce Willis, like when you give him, like, when he shows up, like, he can phone in like a motherfucker. Like, if you've seen some of his newer movies, the sci-fi movies, but like when he shows up, he can play somber and a downbeat role so fucking well. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're always rooting for David throughout Unbreakable, throughout fucking Glass. Like, you know what I mean? And that's one thing, because, like, he's probably, like, I know, like, the vigilante thing or whatever, and he's clearly the good guy out of three of them. But, like, you do root for him. And, like, you know what I mean? That's the whole thing. You want him to survive. And you kind of actually, the only one you really want to die really is, like, even though, as I said, your man, the Beast, is eating people and shit. The only one you really want to die is Samuel L. Jackson's character, Elijah.
Yeah.
Because, like, he's a mass murderer.
He's a mass murderer.
Yeah.
And until you stop him, it's not going to be like 3 girls getting killed.
And the thing is, if you've got DID for real, like, you're not, is Kevin Crumb responsible for what the Beast does?
No, but like, I mean, the DID,
that's the problem.
It was unrealistic,
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's to the nth degree.
Yeah.
It's like David Dunn's a hardy dude. To the nth degree, Elijah's a genius. To the nth degree, you know what I mean? So,
exactly. Just superhero degrees.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, as Joanne says, as one comes along, you need another one to balance it or whatever. Like,
to kind of start to wrap up, would you say that if somebody said, I haven't seen any of them, man, should I watch the Glass trilogy? What do you say to them?
I'd say 100%. Like, if you've watched a lot of M.Night Shyamalan movies, you're going to expect either a really strong ending or a really weak ending, because he's so twist heavy and he's so twist focused that the twist. But that's the problem. You know that's coming. That's the problem with him now. Like, and like, even when you watch The Visit, you're like, I know something's going to happen here. It's not going to be as simple. They're going, not the, like, you know what I mean? You're expecting something, and I think
the more simple the premise, the more fucking stupid.
And I just think that, like, if you look at an M. Night Shyamalan film and you want to experience it, like, if you want to look at this trilogy or whatever, and I'd say the first movie is world class in how to tell a grounded, subtle superhero story. The second movie is one of the best hidden sequels that I've seen in a long time.
I can't think of another one.
You know what I mean? Like, because it was so clever, because nobody
didn't
saw that
coming. Didn't see it coming. It got me. Got 100%.
You know what I mean? Because the twist was supposed to be the Beast was real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and
you know what? Like, plaudits for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I think we've been quite critical, and it's not anything I really want to walk back.
Some of his twists are incredible.
Credits were credit where it's due. That was fantastic.
Yeah, some of his twists are incredible, but just lay off on the twist. You know what I mean? Like, he can make a movie without a twist, and that's the problem.
You just like, oh, come on, we're having, like, meatloaf, and you go home, we're not having meatloaf.
The meat is not loaf.
Yeah. Like, just anything, like. And the way, you know, he was having sex, he's like, did you come? And she'd be like, yes, but the twist was she has an orgasm in years.
Yeah, no, I just think like when you become so central to one thing, like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay, the two that always, and I defy anyone who's listening to this to tell me otherwise, the two that comes to mind all the time for directors that are so formulaic that they can't escape it, Michael fucking Bay and M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody, like, you know, Christopher Nolan is known for certain things. Peter Jackson's known for certain things. But just something that could be set up in a word or two.
Christopher
Twists
Nolan
and
has become
explosions.
so convoluted in these stories.
Convoluted is an excellent.
You know what I mean?
But convoluted is a broad spectrum of things.
Yeah.
It's not like every
trash. Tenant trash.
Tenant just made no fucking.
You know what
sense.
I mean? Like Inception was good, but like that movie's so hard to fucking follow.
But convoluted is a broad spectrum of thing. But you're absolutely right, as in overworked, too much thrown into it. But it's not like one thing. Again, Michael Bay is just it's massive explosions, big action scenes, and Shyamalan's twists. It's so you can literally put it in a word. Boom, twist.
Yeah. I think the problem is with certain directors is that, like, one thing about Michael Bay is he makes terrible movies, but he makes.
I thought you were going to say something complimentary there. No, I will say this for Michael Bay: he makes terrible movies.
But like, he makes terrible movies, but he makes them for the masses. But Chris Nolan and M. Night Shyamalan sometimes make movies for themselves. And that's what it comes across. Like, Interstellar is not made for anyone but Chris Nolan. A Tenet is not made for anyone but Chris Nolan. And sometimes M. Night Shyamalan movies, he makes them for other people, but a lot of the times it comes across that he's making them for himself. And the self-aggrandizement of, I enjoyed that twist. You know what I mean? Like, not will the audience enjoy that twist? I enjoyed that twist. It's kind of like what I said about Nia DaCosta in Candyman. Sometimes he has a habit of stepping back and just admiring his work and forgetting to actually write a story.
Right.
And that's what causes that lull in Glass. Because he was like, Unbreakable was so good. Split, gotcha. And he's like, Glass, and he's like this. Unbreakable was so good. And I really got them a Split. And I'm like, dude, half an hour of the movie's gone. Where's the story? He's like, but Unbreakable was so good. And I really got you a Split. And he's just like admiring the first two movies so long that, as you said, after a while, tell me a fucking story.
He's right. He's smelling his own farts. He's smelling his own farts.
Yeah, you know, and I just think that's
he's moved to San Francisco. And he's smelling his own farts.
You know what I mean? So I just think sometimes these directors start telling stories for themselves and forget initially that they were telling them for the audience. And that's where you get your mass appeal.
I think that's a good point.
You know what I mean?
I do think.
And even though Michael Bay makes absolute garbage, he makes them for the masses. So that's why he's got massive box office returns. You know what I mean? Because he knows what people like, a certain group of people. He knows his base. He's like a good politician.
The Kardashians for the masses.
You know what I mean? Like, I just think sometimes is that you have to remember, you have to make the movie for your audience as much as yourself. And I think sometimes M. Night Shyamalan gets lost in that. And if you want to look back at this trilogy, at the start, he made the first two movies for people. And the third one, I felt like he made a little bit for himself. And I think that's where I'm going. That's my final thoughts on it.
I think that's great, man. I think that's an excellent place to leave it.
So, all right, folks, this is Invasion of the Darkseid. We'll be back tomorrow with another episode of Invasion of the Darkseid. I'm your host, Vincent Green.
I'm your host, Noel John Toohey. Thanks for staying with us.
We got Carmack in the back, and that was the Glass Trilogy. See you next time, motherfuckers. Peace. Twist. Who would have twist?